Story 1. The Prank Call. I was 15 when my best friend Anthony invited me over for the weekend. His parents were gone, and we were free to eat junk food, play FIFA and Call of Duty, and crash in his living room. By 10 p.m., we were bored. Anthony started prank calling pizza places. When it was my turn, I dialed random numbers. On my fourth try, someone picked up. A deep, rough voice answered only. "Yeah." Anthony's laughter in the background made me stumble over my words. I blurted out, Sir, would it be all right if I borrowed one of the wheels from your car?" "What's your name, kid?" the man asked, his voice cold. "Bob." A pause. "Really? You sure it's not Anthony?" I looked at Anthony. His face drained of color. I slammed the phone down. We searched online but couldn't figure out how the man knew Anthony's name. He was too young to appear on any public records. Eventually, we gave up and went back to watching our movie. That's when the storm door creaked open. The front doorknob twisted, catching on the lock. Anthony shut off the TV. I peeked through the blinds. A tall man stood outside. He saw me. I dropped the blinds. Seconds later, the backyard gate squealed. "I forgot to shut the back door," I whispered. Anthony hissed, "Go close it." But when I reached the hallway, I froze. A silhouette stood at the back door. It opened. The man stepped inside. We ran upstairs, hid under Anthony's bed, and held our breath as footsteps moved through the house, closer and closer. The bedroom door creaked. Coats rustled in the closet. Footsteps circled the bed. Silence. Then, out of nowhere, a guttural scream. Anthony was yanked from under the bed. I grabbed the only weapon I could find, a screwdriver, and drove it into the man's back. He howled in pain. We bolted out the back door, diving into the woods. Through the trees, we watched him step outside, scanning for us. For a moment, I swear his eyes locked on mine. Then he started toward the woods. We ran until our lungs burned, doubling back to the house to call the police. This time, we locked every door. When I flicked on the backyard light, I saw him, standing at the tree line, watching us. Then he vanished into the darkness. That was 5 years ago. Nothing else has happened since. But I still wonder if it was all because of that prank call. Story 2. The Guest Room. My wife and I were fighting that night. She screamed at me over something as trivial as a toilet seat, and I'd had enough. I called my buddy Paul, who told me to crash at his place. Paul had a massive house, 3 guest bedrooms lined up along one hallway, his room across from them. He never used the other 2 rooms. That night we drank a few beers, and he offered me one of the guest rooms. I fell asleep quickly, until strange noises from the next room woke me. At first, I assumed it was Paul, but when I checked, his door was shut, and he was in bed. He told me the 2 other guest rooms were always locked, full of personal belongings. I went back to bed, but the noises came again. This time, a faint tap on the wall. Then a whisper. I ran to Paul's room, panicked. He finally took me seriously. He grabbed the keys and opened the locked guest room next to mine. Cold air hit us. The window was wide open. The bed was messed up, like someone had been sleeping in it. The closet was full of empty bags. Paul's valuables were gone. We bolted to the 3rd guest room. Paul unlocked it, just as a black figure jumped from the window onto the patio roof. Paul almost leapt after him, but we decided to run out the back door instead. The man was already gone. What we found inside chilled me more than the intruder himself. Blood-stained sheets. A butcher knife Paul had been missing, spotted with dried blood. Those personal belongings had been ransacked. Someone, maybe several people, had been living in his guest rooms for at least a week, stealing from him and who knows what else. They were never caught. Story 3. The Basement Sleepover. I was 10, spending the night at my friend Jordan's house. He had a massive basement with couches and video games. Paradise for 2 kids. We stayed up late and fell asleep without brushing our teeth, rebels for the night. At some unknown time, I woke up. The TV was still on, its dim light casting shadows across the room. In the far corner by the stairs, something tall stood motionless. It nearly reached the ceiling. Then the TV clicked off. The light vanished. I shut my eyes, paralyzed. I don't remember falling back asleep, only waking to the sound of horrific screaming from upstairs. It was Jordan's mom. We raced upstairs to his parents' room. She sat crying while his dad tore the place apart, searching. He stormed out, checking every inch of the house. No signs of entry. No one there. Years later, Jordan told me his mom still won't talk about that night, except once. She admitted she'd seen a tall, dark figure standing by their bedroom door. The same figure I'd seen in the basement.